All right, all right, all right. Welcome back. Um, to everybody who joined yesterday, we were having some technical difficulties, so um, we got to re-upload the week 6 previews. I got my bro Jeremy with me. Hey, what's up, Jeremy?
Hey, appreciate you having me back on. Take two.
Hey, yeah, no problem. Take two. Thank you for your patience. So let's get right to it. We got the week 6 previews. A lot of great news in the NFL. Um, and let's see, who do we got up first? We got the Eagles versus the Giants. All right. So just to go over the numbers real quick, the Eagles are 12th in points scored, 16th in points allowed, 31st in passing. And me and Jeremy are going to highlight that. 25th in rushing, but +4 in takeaway differentials. I think the Eagles win this easily, but that passing rank is kind of interesting because of a players only meeting, right, Jeremy?
Absolutely. So there's been some issues with A.J. Brown, thinking that he was open, not getting the ball enough. So they had a players only meeting on Monday with Hurts, Barkley, and A.J. Brown talking about it. I don't know if you caught the interview that the Giants head coach, Brian Dable, had, where he said one of the things that he was worried about in this game was how open A.J. Brown has been. So kind of taking a little dig at what they have going on here. They've got so many weapons. They've got
Right.
Johnson has come on strong lately. You got Goddard, you got Smith, Barkley, AJ Brown, Hurts. If they stay out of their way, I see them bouncing back. The Giants really only have Dart and Scalloping right now, so I think the Eagles easily take this one.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the Eagles take this one too. This will be pretty much just like I always say, a showcase for Dart. And I'm actually turning your volume up a little. Uh, how does it sound now?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. All right, cool.
All right. All right.
So yeah, so it'll be a good game to watch. When is kickoff? Like 5 p.m. your time or 8 p.m. your time?
Yeah, usually around 8 o'clock this time.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah.
And,
So,
and
hmm, all right. Up we got next. We got Dallas and Carolina. Um, Dak is playing at an MVP level, which he's had in the past. He's had great regular seasons and then tanked in the playoffs. But for now, he's playing really well. He has them ranked third in passing, um, eighth in rushing, fourth in points scored. While obviously you got the Panthers at the bottom half and everything except for rushing. They're moving the ball on the ground pretty good. Takeaway differentials about the same, not that great. But I'm gonna have to go with Dallas on this one. What's the spread on that, Jeremy?
before it was 3.5, they changed it this morning just to three in favor of the Cowboys. Again, Dak is playing pretty good so far. What you got to watch out for is going to be the Cowboys defense. They rank right now 32nd in the league, dead last. 284 giving up yards average per pass, 127 average per rush per game. Obviously, you have to look at who they faced, but with the Panthers just having to 200 rushing yards last week, it's going to be a close one. I think the spread kind of says it. I think the Cowboys should win it if they can limit their turnovers and somehow stop the rush of the Panthers. They're the better team in this, but they have to stay out of their own way.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah, and I think that's why Jerry Jones didn't want to pay Micah Parsons because even last year and a few years back, the Dallas their defense has always been questionable. They couldn't stop the run, they couldn't stop anything, and now they're just overall bad. And Jerry's probably thinking, hey, I don't want to pay Micah 100+ million when we got so many holes to fix on defense. So they're just pretty much relying on Dak for a shootout. But yeah, yeah. I mean, I think they take this one easily too.
I mean, I see some growth from Bryce Young, but I haven't seen enough for him to actually take over a game. So if they're able to stop that run, I just don't know if Bryce Young has that in him yet, where he can just take over a game himself.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yep. He doesn't have it in him yet. Um, so let's see. Yep, and a lot of these quarterbacks that get drafted really high, it's tough. You never know who you're going to get. You never know who you're going to get. You invest your whole franchise in them, especially taking them one overall, and then things like that happen, and it's like, oh man. But hopefully he can kind of get something together. Um, Last year when they benched him, I just feel like they didn't give him a fair chance to play. So we really will see his true potential if they build more weapons around him. But he's doing what he can, and he's kind of inconsistent, but he has some flashes for sure. All right. So we got the Cardinals and the Colts. Another MVP candidate already early in the year. Daniel Jones is playing lights out. I mean, their numbers here are incredible. Second in points scored, third in points allowed, fourth passing rank, ninth in rushing. Takeaway differential even up there +5. And then you got the Cardinals. Um, their defense is okay and points allowed, obviously, but bottom half and everything else, rushing is kind of creeping up in the top 10, which is good, but they're just inconsistent. They're just inconsistent. Kyler Murray, I don't think he's the answer. I think they need to start looking for quarterbacks. Maybe find a Kirk Cousins or somebody, which I don't think he's that great either. But you need something. You need something to shake up what's going on in Arizona. But as far as the Colts go, they're playing lights out. Um, it's going to be interesting to see, how far they can take it. Yeah. So and you can always chime in anytime you want, Jeremy. Because sometimes I can ramble. So yeah, go ahead.
No, you're good. The spread's gone up just a little bit this morning. Yesterday it was 6.5. It's now up to 7 in favor of the Colts. Like you said, it's the second highest scoring offense. And again, Daniel Jones this year, it just shows you again about some of these quarterbacks who are kind of cast off. You've seen it before. You've seen it with Mac Jones. You've seen it with Sam Darnold this year. And Daniel Jones, everyone said that he was just washed out. And here he is. He's coming back and playing really strong this year. Him and Jonathan Taylor are making a very good tandem this year.
Mm-hmm.
4-1.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's interesting, and we're going to talk about some other, kind of throwaway quarterbacks too as we go forward in this segment. I mean, it's like they're getting a second wind on life, and it really true depends on coaching and the stability of the franchise where a quarterback can really thrive. All right, so who we got? Oh man, speaking of throwaways, the Bengals versus the Packers. They got Cool Joe on the Bengals, and the funny part is they're already going to start him. They just picked him up a couple days ago, and he's going to get the start. I mean, that's how bad they don't like Jake Browning. And the funny thing is they're doing whatever they can to win whatever games they can in hopes that Burrow can come back. But it's already week 6, and I feel like Burrow's timeline is probably a couple more months. What, he's going to come back in week 16 and try to take them to the playoffs? Do you think Flacco is going to give Cincinnati a record to compete to actually make it to the wild card or anything like that? I mean, this is crazy. But I know I get it. I mean, they're doing what they can. And then you got the Packers, solid team overall. Um, they still have a lot. When I first picked them, I thought they were the most complete team at the beginning of the year when they added Parsons, but for some reason they're not able to close games out, and Jordan Love gets rattled a little bit. He doesn't perform too well. But if they can iron all that, I still think they're one of the top teams with them and the Eagles and the Rams and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
The spread on this one is not moving an inch. It's staying at 14.5, which is crazy high.
Mm-hmm.
Flacco, again, he's an upgrade over Browning, but he's no Burrow. But they're not a quarterback away from turning this thing around. They're giving up 27 points a game. That's even with Jamar Chase still doing his thing. The good thing that the Packers do is they don't really have one guy. Love has been spreading around to all of them. They've really been like a team complementary team,
Right.
rushing and passing. This is not going to be close. The Packers could easily take this one.
Right. Right. Good call. Good call. Yep, for sure. Yeah, since they just got a lot of figuring out to do, and they might as well just, obviously you can't tell a franchise to give up on the season, but without Burrow, they just have nothing. Even he can kind of uplift the defense a little bit and provide a spark to the whole team as a whole. Like, he's truly special, but he just cannot stay on the field. So yeah, it's an easy one for the Packers.
And kind of like what you were saying, Do you bring him back in November, December when they're out of the playoffs? Do you risk bringing him back from injury?
Exactly, exactly. And then, what if it messes them up for next year? It's just it's if Burrow keeps getting hurt, as special as he is, I think he can easily be an MVP quarterback if he stays healthy, and he proved that last year. But if he keeps getting hurt, this isn't gonna help for the Bengals. They got a stacked AFC. The NFC's building up. I mean, they're gonna have to start looking for another quarterback. Dare I say, because Joe Burrow is all royalty in Cincinnati, but he keeps getting hurt, man. They need a backup plan, or maybe they got to start looking for quarterbacks. Because this is getting kind of crazy. He's hurt every other year. Yeah. All right. Another castaway quarterback. Another castaway quarterback. We got Seattle Seahawks Sam Darnold. Um, they're a decent squad. Fifth in points scored, 11th in points allowed, well balanced, fifth passing rank, 19th rushing rank. I always say for this, um, I'll believe it when I see it for Darnold. He can get you the regular season numbers. He did it in Minnesota, but when it came for the playoffs, he completely folded. So I'm not on that train yet. I want to wait to see how he performs in the playoffs. As far as the Jaguars are, I know you got them coming in the playoffs. Their numbers are pretty good. 10th points scored, 8th in points allowed, 17th passing rank. They can do better. 5th rushing rank, but their takeaways are +8 takeaway differentials, which puts them second in the league. So they got some good potential to build on. I can't see them making the playoffs this year, but I know, me and you have a little disagreement on that. But hey, I just can't wrap my head around the Jaguars doing good. They've been historically bad for a while now, and But hey, this could be a new leaf. What's the spread you got here?
I'd say around 1.5. I think a lot of that is based on what they did to the Chiefs, beating them on Monday. I think the Jaguars are a big benefit of an easy schedule that they have this year and what they have coming up. You got Sam Darnold again, who's the fifth highest scoring offense. Him and Cooper Cup have been doing well. You got a top five offense against a top 10 defense this week.
Hmm.
That 1.5 spread kind of shows you. I think it's going to be a tight game. The only reason I have the Seahawks winning this one is because of the short week the Jaguars are on.
Right, right. They had a nail biter with the Chiefs where Lawrence had to pull a rabbit out of his hat, fell down, came in, ran it in. I mean, it was a very spirited game. So yeah, you're right. They could come in there tired and limping, and Seattle could take advantage of that for sure. All right, who we got next? Oof. This is one of the games I'm looking forward to the most because the Chiefs are in desperation mode. Um, I mean, look at the Lions. I mean, they're just dominating this year. First in points scored, 17th in points allowed, 12th in passing rank, 7th in rushing rank, +6 in turnover differential. Um, and then you got the Chiefs. They're kind of always in that mix. Always top 10 passing or higher. Uh, Points allowed, they're kind of hovering around the top 10. They're a little bit lower this year. Rushing rank, it's never been consistent. You what do you have? Rice, Pacheco, and then you got Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt showed out last game with the Jaguars. They're a well balanced team, but they just haven't caught a break, and they're not the dominant Chiefs that we're used to seeing a couple years ago. Because if you remember last year, they they were struggling too. But they were winning games. I think they had like a 15-1 record, but they were winning each game by the skins of their teeth. And then they won in the playoffs, and then they just got destroyed by the Eagles. But it just seems like they're doing whatever they can to keep their elite team status, and it's kind of struggling right now. They're kind of slowly becoming average. Hopefully they can turn it around, but they are desperate right now after this last loss. And Detroit is looking for blood. What do you have the spread on that?
Spread staying steady at 2.5. The Lions are coming into this game with a 4-game win streak. Golf is leading the league right now in completions and passing touchdowns.
Hmm.
Mahomes hasn't been the problem. He's always been the playmaker, ability to change the game.
Yeah.
The problem is with the Chiefs' defense. Just last week on Monday, they had 13 penalties, giving up 109 yards. with the offense that the Lions are coming in with, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So the Chiefs need this win to bounce back. They can't go 2-4. They might be able to bounce back after that, but they really need this win. I expect it to be a shootout. The Chiefs need to win to have this win
Mm-hmm.
before the end of the season, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. They're in desperation mode. And you're right. The defense is inconsistent, but when they turn it up under Spagnola, they can be good. But that's a lot of penalties, and when you have those type of situations, Patrick tries to play hero ball. I mean, he threw a 99-yard interception return, so he got us. He's actually still their leading rusher, so they're relying too much on him. I mean, he's the best quarterback in the league still, in my opinion. He'll run, he'll pass. He's got the crazy arm, but the Chiefs they need to do more on defense, and they need to do more on rushing consistently if they really want to take it to the next level. All right. Now we got the Chargers versus the Dolphins. The Chargers are looking for blood after getting whooped by our Commanders. um, was very happy about that game, but we'll get to that later. So here are their numbers: 25th in points scored, which is kind of odd because they have a stacked offense. 6th in point allowed, that was expected. 10th passing rank, 14th rushing rank, and -3 takeaway differentials. That's not good as far as turnovers. Herbert will throw picks. He's done in the past when they needed him to step up. He is a great quarterback, but when it gets tough, he folds and he throws interceptions, fumbles, all that stuff. So for the Chargers to really become that top tier AFC team like we thought they were at the beginning of this year, Herbert has to really stay consistent. And then you got the Dolphins, Hill's out. McDaniels is going to be gone by the end of the year, in my opinion. Um, uh, they have nothing. Tua's not playing consistent. Rushing 30th, passing 21st, points allowed 27th. Just bad overall. 1-4. I mean, they are free falling. Their swag that they had when McDaniels first came in is nowhere anymore. So I feel like the Chargers take this one easily.
Yeah, McDaniels is definitely in the hot seat. He's lost the locker room. He's losing faith with the ownership. The way they choked last week against the Panthers, they've got playmakers. They've got Tua. They've got Waddle. They've got
Mm-hmm.
Waller. The defense has given up 29 points a game, which is going to be hard for any offense to overcome that.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up 200 yards rushing last week to one player. I think the Chargers win that. The problem that the Chargers are going to have is just keeping Herbert healthy. They have an offensive line which is hurting. And you saw what the Commanders were able to do with the rushing attack, being able to sack him late in that game. I don't think the Dolphins have a rushing attack kind of like the Commanders did with how they were able to get a pass rush to Herbert, but I think if Herbert can stay healthy, if he can stay upright, they can kind of have some kind of offensive line production, I think they'll be all right. I think they win this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. And that could probably be attributed to Herbert's struggles is their offensive line not giving him enough protection. I think it's a little bit of both. It is their line. The game is won in the trenches, but Herbert gets rattled pretty easily too. So they just got to tweak both of those things for sure. All right. Here we go with the Patriots versus the Saints. Drake May with the incredible game, him and Stephon Diggs last week against the Bills. He's really coming into his own. The Patriots are becoming a respectable team in the AFC post Tom Brady era, post Bill Belichick era. And this is nice, man. This is nice. They're coming along. Obviously, this is an easy win for the Saints. We don't even have to read the numbers. They're bottom in everything except for takeaways. And rushing is decent. Rattler is cool. He can play until I don't see him as a starting quarterback. I know you mentioned that yesterday too. I think we both agree on that. Um, it just you know he's just not he's not the answer, but he's a good filler right now until they rebuild their program. And hey, if he can improve and turn into like a Mayfield or somebody, that's cool too. He had some great plays last week. But the story here is Drake May and the Patriots' resurgence to becoming a respectable AFC opponent. Um, or NFL opponent in general. I know they're facing the Saints, and it's great to see how Drake May is developing and growing with Josh McDaniels back there. I mean, he is truly a gem at offensive coordinator. And it's great to see him click already with May the way he clicked with Brady. So yeah, I got the Patriots winning this easily. What's the spread on that?
Yeah, spread staying steady at 3.5. I think Patriots, like you said, kind of take this one. Saints coming off their first win of the season, beating the Giants, but that was on the back of 5 takeaways they got. Patriots are coming off a huge win of their own, beating the Bills last week. I think the Patriots are just a better team, and I just don't see Rattler and the rest of the Saints overtaking it. So I think
Hmm.
the Patriots will win this one.
Yep, for sure. Let me see. Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I can turn your volume up now. Ha! I think we finally got everything. Because the volume was a little low on my end, but I'm turning it up now. Say something again?
All right, we good?
Yeah, we're good. All right, perfect. All right.
We're figuring all this stuff out.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right. Okay. All right. The Denver and the Jets. We got Bo Nix, Sean Payton duo. They're doing great. You see them fighting every now and then, but they are figuring it out. Um, Bo Nix is a playmaker and he's super competitive. So, these numbers don't really tell the whole story. 18th in points scored, 15th in passing rank. I think they're definitely a lot better than that. And they're a steady, solid AFC team. I mean, it's great to see other teams kind of get in a mix instead of the usual Ravens, Chiefs, Bills that we all expect every year to win the Super Bowl. We're starting to see the Broncos and the Patriots and uh, who else? Even the Clippers, if they can, stay consistent, and these guys are really going to give the top tiers a run for their money. It's good to see other teams emerge. And the Jets, they're just 0-5. They might not win a game this year. Their defense is terrible, as we know, and I know it's because they let go of Salah. Um, I'm probably saying his name wrong. Forgive me. And ever since they let him go, their defenses went to down the drain. Um, you know, uh, in my opinion, they should have kept him as DC and hired another head coach, but they just fired him altogether. And guess where he's at now in San Fran? They're playing well, and they don't even have Nick Bosa, and their defense is doing really great this year. So, you know, Salah was a big loss to the Jets, and the Jets overall as a franchise has just been historically bad, and it's not going to change this year. What are your thoughts on that?
Spread's down a little bit on this one to 7 from a 7.5 yesterday. It's one of those London games, early morning Sunday.
Mm.
You have to wonder if travel's going to play into effect going into Europe. Um, Broncos 3-2, like you said. Jets 0-5. Broncos take this one. Field needs to be more consistent. The Jets, like you said, 5 games in, 0-5. They've given up 27 points or more in every single one of their games with that defense. You've got Patrick Sertan, Bo Nix, a healthy J.K. Dobbins. It's just going to be too much. The Broncos win this one easy.
Yep, easily. It'd be cool to see Fields get another 50-yard break or whatever, like he always does. But yeah, the Broncos got this. Peyton and Knicks, they are serious. They are not playing at all. You know. All right, and now back to the Browns. They just got rid of Flacco, and the coach is still non-committal about Shador being the backup. And I know people are tired of every time you bring up the Browns, you talk about a third string quarterback that hasn't played a snap yet in the regular season. People are tired of that. People, they're tired of the Shador talk, but it's just amazing how under Mel Kiper's board and all the draft analysts ranked him as the best quarterback in the draft, right? And they're just treating him like this. But this is Dylan's team. He played decent last week. He had 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. He had, some people like to say he did, was just doing a short intermediate passing game, whatever. But he did what he had to do to move the ball down the field. And if he continues to play well, that spells trouble for Shador. But at the end of the day, um, 31st in points scored, 21st in points allowed, 24th passing rank, 26th rushing rank. The Browns are historically bad. They just pretty much have to rely on their defense. But their defense can't even play if the offense doesn't do anything, and they're constantly on the field, you know. And then you got the Steelers. I think they're better than what the numbers show. They're coming off a fresh bye week, so I think they make light work of the Browns. Um, and it'll be interesting to see Aaron and Metcalf do what they do. You know, they've had a couple crazy plays this year, but I'm gonna have to give this one to the Steelers, while the Browns figure out their situation. And a Tomlin team, they're always gonna make the playoffs, but can they get to the next level? But that's another AFC team that's doing pretty well so far, and it'll be nice to see if they can challenge the top dogs. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Steelers coming here off a bye. Spread staying the same, 5.5 in favor of the Steelers. Like you said, with Flacco being out and then putting all their trust into Gabriel, the rookie quarterback, he did pretty well over in Europe last week against the Vikings. Almost coming through. A lot of it was kind of a vanilla playbook. I mean, maybe again because it was his first start, him being a rookie, a lot of checkdowns, a lot of short passes.
Yep.
He's coming in here facing a Steelers defense, which is pretty good. TJ Watt, they got the second most sacks against a rookie quarterback. The Steelers right now are in the driver's seat to win this division. With the struggles of the Bengals, struggles right now with all the injuries with the Ravens. With this game, I think if they were able to beat the Browns, which I think they will, I think they're easily in the driver's seat to win this division.
Yep, yep. Easy in the driver's seat. That should give them a cakewalk to the playoffs where they can face the top dogs. But like we said, even the top dogs are kind of still trying to find their identity. So yeah, this is a great opportunity for the Steelers to capitalize if Rodgers can stay healthy and stay consistent, and Tomlin's defense can kind of step it up a little bit. They're good with the takeaways, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this progresses for sure.
It's been interesting seeing Metcalf come around too. The last couple of games where Rodgers have been throwing deep to him. You saw it a little bit in Seattle, but I don't know if it was just that market or what was happening. But you're starting to see it now, actually come around now with Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Nice to see.
he actually has a quarterback with a big arm now, and I mean, even though Rodgers isn't what he once was, he's still better than the Seattle quarterbacks. So, you know, all it takes is one little flip of the wrist, and Metcalf is gone. You know, he's still big, physical, and fast. And Rodgers has a cannon of an arm. So it's going to be interesting to see how they progress through the year. But yeah, like you said, they've made some crazy plays already for sure. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we got the Titans and the Raiders. Um, they're all bad. This is bad. Look at the numbers on the screen. 31st, 30th, 26th, 25th, 32nd, 16th, 28th, 20th, plus one takeaway, minus six. Um, I don't know if Carroll makes it to the end of the year, or if he does, they might fire him. He might be one and done like Pierce was. Um, I don't know what he was thinking bringing Geno Smith over because he knows Geno Smith more than anyone. Geno Smith has been a career backup. Um, and he's not a bad QB, right? He can get the yards in. He can do what he has to do to move the ball down the field, but he is a turnover machine. He leads with 9 interceptions in the league. Um, and this is nothing new, you know. He shows flashes of greatness, and then he just completely tanks. And Carroll knows this, so maybe he wanted to build the hype because Geno did have a resurgence the past few years. Um, he did kind of turn his career around. And we're proud of that. But right now, it's going back to the old Smith, and Carroll has no answers. His Seattle Magic is running out. He's the oldest coach in the league. We're hoping he can get a couple more years out, but if they're going in this direction, he might be one and done like Pierce. And then you got the Titans. They're just bad overall. And another, speaking of the quarterbacks, Dylan Gabriel, Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, Jackson Dart, all these quarterbacks, they come from a weak class. I don't think any of them are transformational, and you can see that now with the Titans. Even though it's not all of Cam Ward's fault, he still has to play a lot better. I mean, 32nd in passing, and that's all his fault, really. And I know he doesn't have that much of a line, but as a number one overall pick, maybe they should have waited a little bit to put him in the game. But 32nd overall in passing, 31st in points scored. This is just terrible. He has no running back support. I mean, just two bad teams. Who do you got winning in this one?
Yeah, the spread is favoring the Raiders at 4.5. It's staying there, and I think it's just because the Raiders are playing at home. The Titans just seem to be stuck in rebuilding mode. This time under Cam Ward. I think he's got talent. It's just going to take time to kind of build around him and get a system that he's good in. Uh, the Raiders, I don't know. I think maybe with trying to bring in Geno Smith. They were trying to get some magic they had in Seattle, but it just is not there.
Nope.
Raiders giving up 40 points last game. Titans have the worst offense in the NFL. Someone has to win this, and the only reason I have the Raiders winning this is because they're playing at home.
Yep, yep, yeah. Someone's got to win it. Someone's got to win it, and yeah, it doesn't look like it'll be the Titans. I agree with you 100%. All right. Okay, so now we got the Rams and the Ravens. It's sad to see the Ravens fall from grace. You really see how important Lamar Jackson is to that team because their defense have always been bad, but once he's out the picture, I mean, they got annihilated last week. And their defense, 32nd points allowed. I mean, dead last in the league. So, and points scored is sixth, but that number is a lie because that was with Lamar Jackson. So it's gonna be, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a blowout. The Rams are, in my opinion, one of the most complete teams in the NFC. They are always in the mix. Um, what's his name? Matthew Stafford has always been a consistent top tier quarterback. He's very dependable, and which is why the Steelers tried to snag him before they got Rodgers because he's the real deal. Um, they just happen to not be better than the Eagles. That's it, really. And the Lions are great too. But certain teams, the only reason why they got the edge on the Rams is because they're just overall better. But Matthew Stafford is the best. I think he's better than Hurts. I think he's better than Goff. I think he's better than Mayfield. And as long as he can stay healthy, because he is getting up there in age, the Rams got a shot. Him and Sean McVay are a great team. And look, their passing rank is second in the league. But they have no rushing, and their defense always is in or hovering around the top 10 also. So in my opinion, they're one of the most complete teams in the NFC. It'll be interesting to see if they can get up there and compete with the Eagles because the Eagles are having them problems. But the Ravens, Harbaugh is on the hot seat because even without Lamar, they got to figure out what to do with that defense. Their defense is terrible, so they got to figure it out. Otherwise, he's going to be out of there. Even though he won a Super Bowl with them, they need to straighten it out. Hopefully, Lamar can come back because it seems like he's the only one that's going to will them. And the interesting part is they can't even depend on Henry. With Lamar gone, why don't you just give it to Henry and let him carry the team like he carried Tennessee a while back? He's the sole reason why Tennessee had a winning record a few years back. For some reason, they're not relying on him. I don't know if it's the fumbles or he's just not what he once was. It's hard to be a running back in your 30s, but they got to rely on him until Lamar gets back. Otherwise, it just shows that like he's only doing well because of Lamar, and that's not good because if Lamar has a bad game or if Lamar is hurt, we need someone to step up, and we need Henry to carry the load of that offense because, I mean, you saw how he did in the beginning of the year, and even last year he was breaking off for 50-yard runs and putting up all types of points on the board. But it's like now that Lamar's not gone, we still need that from you, Henry. So who do you got winning that one?
Yeah, the spread on this one staying at 7.5 in favor of the Rams. I think the story of this one again is going to be all the injuries that the Ravens are coming in with.
Yep.
Their injury report this week consists of Jackson, Flowers, Hamilton, Humphrey, Ricard, and Raycon Smith.
Mhm.
I mean, these aren't just regular players. These are top players on both the offense and the defense, and that's what's hurting the Ravens right now. The Rams struggled last week against Mac Jones and the 49ers, but I think they bounced back this week against a Ravens team that's coming in injured.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and there's another guy on defense too. I think is Namdi. I forgot his name, but he's out for the year with the neck injury, and he was a serious factor in the Ravens' defense. So maybe Harbaugh might not be on the hot seat because they could just blame it on injuries. But he's been coming up short for a while. They've been Super Bowl picks for a while. And he's been coming up short, and I know the owners are thinking about that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year. But yeah, you're right. They caught the injury bug big time. All right. Speaking of San Francisco, another throwaway quarterback, Mac Jones. I mean, wow. The 49ers are 4-1. I am impressed. Points allowed sixth. You can credit that with Salah, as I mentioned earlier. The Jets should not have let him go. 22nd in points scored, though. And that number is kind of a lie because Mac Jones has been playing lights out. 28th in rushing rank. I know that number is going to go a little bit higher because McCaffrey's finding his groove back. Um, but this is going to be one of the most evenly matched games this week. Um, Tampa Bay, Mayfield is doing what he's doing. Seventh in points scored, 23rd in points allowed, but sixth in passing, uh, and 22nd in rushing. So they need to get that up a little bit. But their takeaway difference is +2. They're a well balanced team, along with the Rams. They're a well balanced team, and I feel like they would be a nice NFC title matchup if it was the Rams versus the Bucks. I mean, assuming the Eagles don't make it, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And can't forget the Commanders. They're always going to be in the mix. They're always going to win the Super Bowl every year. But Tampa Bay is a well-rounded team, and San Francisco, surprisingly, with all the injuries, they are well balanced. If their defense can keep this up and Mac Jones can play as well as he's playing, the 49ers can really make some progress. What's the spread on this one?
Spread's up a little bit this morning, 2.5 yesterday. It's up to 3 in favor of the Bucks. You got two 4-1 teams coming into this. This is my game of the week. I'm expecting a shootout. You got Mac Jones being a throwaway quarterback, but you also have Mayfield in there too. You know about his issue with the Browns. He had a little vacation with the Panthers, but he seems to have found a home now here with the Buccaneers. And he's one of the best fourth quarter quarterbacks in the league right now with all the way he's able to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Mac Jones had 342 passing yards last week. The Buccaneers secondary beat up, so it's got a potential here for it to be a shootout, high scoring game. I think the Buccaneers do end up winning this in the fourth quarter based on Mayfield.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. That's a good pick. Just keep an eye out for Sal and his defense, though. They could probably give Mayfield some problems. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this game too, for sure. All right, and now we got the
It's
Bill.
just nice to see some of these quarterbacks, though.
Yeah, yeah,
Like with your Mac Jones, your Daniel Jones, the people they thought were just done out of the league. It's just nice to see them be able to come back here and actually prove that, actually compete for starting roles here. Because there's going to be some in the offseason. You can see some teams now that are really hurting for a quarterback. You look at the Saints, you look at the Bengals. They call they're all going to be in the Manning. Like I guess the Manning competition when he comes out from Texas.
yeah.
You got a couple quarterbacks like now that they could easily trade for or get in free agency next year. So.
Especially if San Fran wants to commit to Brock Purdy, which I don't think they should. I think they need to commit to Mac Jones. He was a higher draft in the league. He has way more upside potential, and he's playing great now. But yeah, if they commit to Purdy, that leaves Mac Jones out there in the open. Anybody could pick him up. So yeah, you're right. It's great seeing them bounce back like that. I think the Bucks are going to keep Mayfield though. They love the energy he brings. So yeah, this is going to be like you said. Yeah, it's great to see these kids bounce back and get a second chance. It's great. And that's what we expected from Gino too, but it's not working out so well for him. And he's been in the league a little bit longer, so yep. But yeah, and there's a few others that we probably haven't mentioned. Darnold. Uh, who else? I think that's it for now. I can't think off the top of my head, but yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's good seeing these quarterbacks get a second chance. All right. So now we got the Bills. I know they're looking for blood after last week's loss to the Patriots. Hold on. Come up. There we go. Um, the Falcons are a good team. They're still trying to find out who they are. They're 500. Penix is finding his groove. Their defense is okay. Top half of the league. Their passing is 13th, but their points scored isn't that great. Their rushing is great, but the Bills they're way overmatched. But the Achilles heel of the Bills has been their defense. So if their defense can kind of step it up a little bit, you already know Josh Allen is going to do what he does. James Cook is going to do what he does. Um, their offense is a machine. The Cook and Allen combo is probably one of the most dominant in the league next to Lamar and Henry. They just get it done. And Josh Allen will always be in the MVP conversation every year. He's a superb quarterback, and I just see them beating the Falcons easily, especially after week's loss to the Patriots. They're looking for blood, and the Falcons are still trying to find their identity. I think they're sticking behind Penix. But I'm giving this one to the Bills. What's the spread on that?
Spreads up a little bit. It was 3.5 yesterday. It's up to 4.5 now with the Bills. Like you said, Bills coming off a tough loss, no undefeated team based on your other podcast that you just had. The Falcons are coming into this with the number one overall defense, averaging for yards. And they're keeping Penix healthy. He's only had 5 sacks so far. You've got a steady rush with John Robinson averaging 4.9 yards per carry. But like you said, the Bills just overmatch them. They've got too much power on there, and I think the Bills will win this one in a close one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you got 2 Monday night games this week. This is the first one.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah, for sure. What's the second Monday night one?
The second one is going to be your Bears
Oh,
at Commanders.
oh, here we go. Bears versus Commanders. This is where I throw all rationale, stats, and analysis out the window. Washington by a landslide. No, but seriously, um, it's just amazing what Jaden Daniels brings to this team. Um, Mariota was a good backup, but he won one and lost one. He's okay. He even played well, but when Jaden comes back, everybody plays well. Look at the rushing, first in the league, even with Eckler out. And the passing rank is 23rd, but don't let that fool you because Jaden Daniels will make the throws he needs to make. And look at points allowed, ninth in points allowed. Our Achilles heel has been our defense, but our defense has been showing up these past couple weeks. And if they can maintain this, we really can be a factor in the NFC. I think we'll be better than the Bucks. I think our only issue would be the Rams and the Eagles. I'm not even scared of the Lions because guess what? The Lions were top ranked last year, and guess who beat them? Guess who beat them to go to the NFC? We did. So part of this analysis is, of course, emotional and biased, but hey, man, I'm not far fetched because we did make the NFC last year, and this was all because of Daniels. He uplifts the whole team. You put this same team on with any other quarterback, they're 500. They're 8-8. Daniels is the game changer, and he can take it to the next level. And it's about time the Commanders has a reliable quarterback. Not to take anything away from the Bears, Caleb Williams is finding his stride. He's proving that he was a worthy first overall pick. Their defense is getting a lot of takeaways. They're a good, solid team. But it's the Commanders. And I know if you guys remember last year, they had that crazy Hail Mary at the end of the game. I'm definitely looking for something like that this week. Yeah, I got the Commanders. Who do you got, Jeremy?
Commanders coming in here, spread as a 4.5 point favorite. Everyone's talking about Daniels. I'm interested now and Ja'Cory Bill, the running backs they have. You saw he had a breakout game last week.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears are dead last against the rush. I think that's going to be a big factor in this game. The Bears, they're talking about the Hail Mary last year, but you've got the different offenses here. You're talking about what was it, the Lions' old offensive coordinator coming in here, now being the coach for the Bills, and how he has a different scheme, very tricky. They don't really have a running game with Swift, but if you allow Caleb Williams to get outside, he can hurt you.
Yep.
The thing that the Commanders are going to have to do in this game to get a pass rush, they're going to have to contain him, keep him in the pocket, get some kind of rush on there, because I don't know if the Commanders' secondary is good enough, especially when you got a DJ Moore out there who can hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting McLaurin back, which could be huge.
Scary Terry.
Yeah. So you got Debo out there. He's going on his own, but if you got McLaurin out there, you got to put attention on both of them. One of them's going to get open. You're looking at probably getting Sam Cosmi back. That's going to be added protection for Daniels. And like you were talking about with Daniels, he's got that it factor. The team just rallies around him.
Mm-hmm.
And that Chargers game, before that end of the second half, where they threw that big deep pass to McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like the offense just couldn't get anything going. But once they hit that long pass, it was a totally different game.
Totally
The
different.
defense started getting to Herbert. every single down got like a first down, almost like a scoring drive. Ever since that one play, it was like a totally different team. They started rallying around that big play. They started believing again. And I don't know what the magic is, but once they start getting it, they start believing in themselves. This team can be very, very scary.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. They just got to get past the top dogs in the NFC, which they can. They can. Um, because they probably have a better shot against, like, let's say the Rams or the Bucks or whatever than probably Eagles. That's the only team I'm scared of, because when the Eagles front defensive line puts the pressure, they'll have Jaden's running for his life. And when Saquon Barkley turns it up, um, you know they're very dangerous. But other than that, we got a good shot. I'm not scared of Detroit at all. So you're right, man. We could definitely do some damage. For sure.
It's going to be interesting. We haven't faced the Eagles yet this year.
Hmm.
We saw what happened when we faced the Packers. So we faced elite teams. That's when we're really going to have to find out. And luckily, we're going to find out later in the season. We kind of get some of the rust off. We find out what's working, what's not working, tweak some of the offense that we got going on.
Hmm.
As far as this game, I don't see it being as close as the last one where it came down to Henry at the end.
Right.
However, if it is a close game, something to watch is going to be the Bears kicker, Santos. Right now, he's injured. Their backup is Jake Moody, the old 49ers kicker, who had confidence issues and been missing kicks. So if it does come down to a close game, that's going to be something to watch if he is their kicker going into this game.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. I agree. I agree. Um, yeah, yeah. So if it comes down to the kicker, yeah, they're done. Because all Washington needs is that one little edge, and we've won a lot of close games in the past with Daniels. When it really matters, it's crunch time. We always pull through, So and the Bears haven't. So just give me 1 second. I don't want my laptop's about to die. I forgot to put it on the charger. 1 second. Shit, crisis averted. Um, All right, so yeah, yeah, but yeah, that's gonna be a good game. I'm definitely tuning in on Monday night. Um, and yeah, if it comes down to the wire, they got a backup kicker, and I don't see Caleb Williams. We haven't seen it. Well, there probably was one or two games, but I haven't seen him really, really go down to the wire and win the game for them like Daniels has numerous times. So yeah, I think Washington has this for sure.
Yeah, as long as they can keep pressure on Williams, because if you allow him to get comfortable, you allow him to get in rhythm. Caleb is a good quarterback, and
Yeah.
he's got some weapons on there. If you allow him to get comfortable, he can definitely do that. He doesn't have that run support right now, so it's kind of been kind of on him. But if the pocket falls apart, he will run on you. Again, get out of the pocket, he will. He's got no problem throwing on the run. It's not going to be a cakewalk, but if we can do little things, if we can control the ball with our run game, not put it all on Daniel, but if we can at least run it with Bill and we keep pressure on Williams, I think we got this one.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. I agree completely. Definitely looking forward to that. We got a lot of good games coming up this week, so yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. But I think that's all of them. I think we finally got it down after uh, audio failure last night. Yeah. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for working with me. So yeah, 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 um,
Not a problem. We'll have to see what happens, see if we know what we're talking about.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, no, I think we got it. I think we got it. Yeah, yeah. So cool. Look forward to seeing the game tonight. And yeah, catch you guys later. And yeah, thanks for joining us, Jeremy Lee, out of Martinsburg, West Virginia. And yeah, cool, cool. Enjoy the game tonight, everyone, and we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow.